Give this a couple of moments, let this thing kick in. I noticed that when we started on the first couple of Facebook Lives that the first couple seconds or minutes or so get cut off, so we can kill a bit of time. Hey guys, if you're watching this, go ahead and like, share, and comment. I have Levi Torres, the owner of High Five Plumbing, here on live with us. We're going to kick this off in about 30 seconds or so, maybe about a minute. Just get a couple more people on here if possible. If anything, if you just show some love and share, like, and comment throughout this Facebook Live. We might have some technical difficulties. If so, if you guys can give us a heads up and let us know. Hopefully everything is going smooth. I'm going to go ahead and double check this on my phone and see how we're doing. A couple of moments, let this thing kick in. Pretty smooth so far, we'll see. At least the sound quality is better than what we had. All right, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. On three. All right. Ira Coleman here, the founder of Fluent Hustle. We are a community that believes in empowering, promoting, and inspiring entrepreneurs through the stories of other entrepreneurs, like I have here with Levi Torres. He is the owner, CEO, the creator of High Five Plumbing. Let's get a high five on that.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting all week just to do that on this show, man. So I'm very honored to have you on our show. You and I met about a week and a half or so ago, and I've heard nothing but great things about who you are and what you're about throughout the community. And you and I were able to connect and just kind of just shoot the shit for a little bit, and then get you scheduled on a show, and it turned out very quickly. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I know you're very insightful on your business and your history and what you have going on. So High Five Plumbing is a family-owned Denver plumbing company. They are a local, family-owned plumbing company that offers comprehensive plumbing, sewer, drain services throughout the Denver metro area here in Colorado. I'm actually showing my Colorado Love shirt right now. And your business really started off based on honesty and integrity and wanting to make a change in the plumbing industry. But you're a man that grew up with a wrench in your hand. I believe that your father had a plumbing business, and your other family members had other type of contracting service type of businesses as well. And that's what I really wanted to get a chance to understand is like who you are, what you're about, and how did that wrench in your hand just really allow you to change and disrupt this market moving forward. What you see, is, I know I'm putting a lot out there, but what you see is trending coming ahead. And something I really want to also mention is, how is the trade industry looked at today, and how are you looking to try and change that stigma coming ahead? There's an article that I read earlier before I came in that my friend Bridget had posted, which I brought to your attention. We're going to kind of talk about that a little bit, but let's talk about your upbringing, who you are, and what you're about, and let the audience get a chance to see, who is Levi.
Yeah, so I grew up in a small town, with my dad who owned a plumbing company. Me and all my brothers worked for him. We're all master plumbers. I have 4 other brothers, and they're all master plumbers. We grew up in a small town, and what I learned from my dad was, when you grow up in a small town, you have to have great customer service,
right?
Because when you have a limited supply of customers, you have to keep them happy, and you have to make sure that they continue to use you. So when we started High Five Plumbing, we kind of took those same beliefs, those same morals, and brought them into our company to make sure to keep our customers, keep our customer service. But growing up in the industry was great. I knew that I was going to have a background plan no matter what. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, I was a plumber. When I got out of high school, I went to college for a semester, realized it wasn't for me, and I was able to go right into plumbing and already be licensed, already making a very good career for myself right out of high school.
Right. You bring out customer service right out the gates, and growing up in a smaller town and knowing that, making one bad decision towards the customer can definitely, disrupt and ruin your reputation throughout the community, right? What did your father instill in you early on about having integrity and being honest and just making right decisions, with not only just a customer, but, perhaps now your employees, but just an everyday person to left and right of you?
Well, growing up with my dad, he always told us that, if you treat people fairly, they're going to do the same to you. Same process. What is the golden rule? Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Right.
And so it's the same thing with our business. We go to people's houses and we take respect that this is their home, and they invited us to their home to try to help them in a time of need. And so we go out there with utmost respect for every single one of our customers. We respect their property. We respect their decisions. And we really do what is ultimately best for the customer, what's going to make their situation the best for them at that time.
Right, right. So, growing up with that mindset and persevering, pushing through, and then going on to college, like, why did you bother going to college to begin with?
Well, growing up in the plumbing industry, it's really not a real glamorous profession. It's something that, most people who are in the trades are there because of somebody in the family, or they had somebody who kind of pushed in that direction. And so, my dad always pushed me in that direction to make sure that I knew plumbing, that I knew it. He never forced me to become a plumber. Mm-hmm. He told me if I wanted to go to college, choose my career, but he wanted me to have plumbing.
Right.
And so I was a residential licensed plumber, but when I got out of high school. And so when I went to college, like I said, I saw how much I was spending to be at college and how much I could have made as a licensed plumber, and it made my decision very easy to just go ahead and jump on board of plumbing and make a career out of it.
What about college did you not like that really just made you think differently? You're saying, college isn't for me. This path isn't going to take me where I'm going to be fulfilled and want to move forward. Was there any particular situation that occurred?
Well, one thing I could say about, my experience in college was very short. It was only a semester. But I just truly don't believe that college is for everybody.
It's not, yeah.
And so I was a good student in high school. I had good grades. I kept my grades up. I was always one of the higher grades in the class. But when I got to college, and it's time for you to start to make the decision on what you're going to do for a living, mm-hmm. it changes a little bit, And so in high school, I looked at plumbing as, I don't want to be a plumber. I don't want to do what my dad did.
Right.
But then once I got out into, I want to say adulthood, really is what it was. I got out, started to realize, man, that I could really make a really successful career if I just put my mind and heart towards plumbing. And so I made that decision there, and I haven't turned back from there.
So my friend Bridget Mall, hello Bridget, hopefully you get a chance to watch this or come back and watch later on, but she posted this article on Facebook today, and it was perfect timing. This had been maybe 10 or 10:30 or so, and it's by NPR. And they say high-paying trade jobs sit empty while high school grads line up for the university. And it kind of goes on to talking about that some $30 million, I can't even speak right now today, some 30 million jobs in the United States that pay an average of $55,000 per year don't require a bachelor degree. And plumbing and the trades industry are many of these jobs that they're speaking about that don't require a bachelor degree overall. And one of the rising alarms that they mention also is that while the shortage of workers is pushing wages higher in the skilled trades, the financial return from a bachelor degree is softening. The cost of actually going to school is also, increasing and cannot be paid back. And the average debt into which it plunges students into continues to drive up higher and higher. So have there been any particular situations throughout your career, being in this industry, that you're starting to recognize that individuals are leaving school, they're walking away, they've actually got a bachelor's degree, now they're going back into trade school to say, hey, you know what, I want to change my future ahead of me?
Yeah. So, one of the first employees we ever hired here at High Five Plumbing actually was in college, and he had his accounting degree. He had gone to school for 4.5 years to get everything he needed,
yeah.
And he couldn't find a job. And so he was actually in the trades program at Red Rocks at the time, and that's how he found us.
And this is Red Rocks Community College?
Yes.
All right. We'll be talking about Red Rocks Community College a little bit further and throughout this show, because I know before we got you scheduled, we had a great conversation about that.
And so, he was in the program. He came to work for us, and talking to him, he went to college because that's what was recommended.
Yeah.
And so he found something at college that he thought he would be good at, that he could do. And then once he graduated and realized that there wasn't really a lot of opportunity, he then saw trades. He saw trades as an ability, as something to help him advance. You can always advance in the trades. That's what's huge. Is there's endless limit. There's no roof. You can keep going. And so he saw that, and he jumped on board right away. A couple of years out of college, and realized he couldn't find a job, and he jumped on board with the trades.
So what was your journey before you decided to open up the business? I mean, you graduate college. I'm sorry, you go to college for a semester. You already had your license. You jumped right into work. What was that journey and that gap before you decided to open up High Fly Plumbing?
So, I went back to, after I left college, I went back to my hometown and worked for my dad, who owned the plumbing company. He ran a plumbing company. We were able to work for him. What my dad also did, though, is he taught me the technical end of plumbing, but he also taught me the business end of it. So as I was growing and learning plumbing, I was also learning how he would bid jobs, how he would treat customers,
Yeah.
how he would deal with customers on the phone, how he would communicate. And so I really tried to soak up as much of that as I could from my dad while I was there. And then when I turned 26 years old, I decided to move up to Denver.
A couple years ago?
Yeah. I decided to do something a little different. I moved up here to Denver. And I worked for a company up here in Denver for, about a little under 2 years.
Okay.
And I realized very quickly that I wanted to be the person who was making the difference. I wanted to go out and do something that I could bring people on and train them and make them better. So we started High Five Plumbing. Me and my wife sat down one day. I had a conversation with my dad about, if I felt I was ready to start a plumbing company, and we made the decision to start High Five, and it's been going good since then.
Another high five for that one, man. So how'd you come up with the name High Five Plumbing?
It's funny. It's very similar to that. So, when you're sitting down thinking about names, you're always trying to think of something that's going to catch people's names.
Yeah.
And my wife sat down and she said, she thought of a name. I don't even remember which name it was. She thought of a name and I said, oh, that's a good name. And I went, High Five. And then we were like, High Five Plumbing. And it stuck. And we got our slogan with every call ins with a high five. And it really has done well for us.
So I noticed you have a book on your shelf over here. It says High Five. And is it by Sheldon Bolin?
Sheldon Bowles and Ken Blatchard.
What is that book about?
It's a management. It's about working together.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing with high fives is high fives are associated with good times and bads.
Yeah.
I'm a very sports oriented person. So, in sports, high fives, you do something bad, you do something wrong, you still get a high five.
Right.
It's an encouragement high five. And so that book talks a lot about how to work together and how a high five can be given, whether somebody made a mistake or not. It's still a way to work together with everybody. Everybody can use a high five.
So when you and your wife started this business, it was just you two. Did you have any employees out the gate, or were you doing all the work?
Yeah, so it was just me. The first 8 months of the business was just me in a truck.
Okay.
It was just me out 12, 14-hour days doing whatever I could. Because at that point, it's now a necessity. It's not a job because I need to do this to provide for my family.
Yes.
So about 8 months into it, I was able to get to a point where I was able to start bringing on people to start to help me. And that's when we started to grow. We started to bring on. I hired 2 people just shortly after 1 year.
Wow, that's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So your whole goal wasn't just to have a one-man shop. Your goal at the beginning was to create a company, a brand, and a culture.
Exactly.
Overall, right?
Yeah. With High Five Plumbing, I want to be the best plumbing company. Now, everybody has different definitions for what the best is.
Sure.
My theory of the best is I want when a customer to call us, they're going to have the best experience for their situation.
Right.
And when we leave out of there, they're going to be happy that they called High Five Plumbing. They're going to be happy that they got a high five at the end of that job. And that's really what we're trying to do.
Is that a branding you guys do, physically give high fives to your customers?
It is. We offer every customer a high five.
I love that. That is awesome. That is awesome. So not only do you have your customers externally, you also have customers internally,
Yep.
right? And these customers are your employees. These are your team members. These are your contractors that are working with you. Tradesmen that are working with you to get out there and do the job right the first time.
Yep.
What's your philosophy internally to be awesome, not only for yourself, but the people around you? What are you looking to cultivate? And something that really resonates with me is the small things you're doing. I want you to share rather than me, the small things you're doing for the employees and the families overall.
Yeah, definitely. So, with our employees, with the trades industry, it's kind of tough. Because some days you'll have to be out working late, and some days you may get home a little earlier.
Right.
But one thing we're very big on is our technicians' family time. We want them to still have a family relationship. We want them to spend time with their kids. So that's why we've adjusted a lot of our scheduling and stuff to where, they're not going out all hours of the night. We only go out after normal business hours for our VIP club members. Our guys aren't out working until midnight every night, and they get every Sunday off. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that you got to spend time with your family, and we do a lot of things around here. We actually have a company barbecue coming up on the 12th of May, where all families are invited. They can bring their kids, they can bring their families. We're going to have a bounce house. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So we really do try to keep that family feel in this company.
Good.
We've designed our whole warehouse and our whole shop, and I hope you saw that. What we've tried to accomplish is we want to make it feel like a home.
Yeah.
When people come to work here, we don't want them to feel like they're coming to a warehouse and it's going to be a long, strenuous day. We want them to feel like they're coming to a house where they can feel comfortable. you're comfortable with the people you're working with, and that's really the culture we're trying to create.
Good. And if it is going to be a long strenuous day, at least you're doing with the people you like, you're comfortable with, and that you can say, hey, you know what, let's go to the back, let's shoot some hoops, just have some, a quick game of bags. And I'm also noticing that when you gave me the tour, is that you have back-end support to ensure that your employees overall, like from the office, from the marketing to getting the supplies ready to go in the warehouse, having the trucks ready to go. It's like you're trying to alleviate as much as possible for your staff in every direction.
Exactly. Well, and a lot of the reason why we set up stuff the way we do is we want to make it convenient for our customers too. So when we go to a customer's house, and if they happen to have a problem where we don't have that part on our truck, we don't want to inconvenience them by us having to leave and go take an extra hour of their time. So we have people in place to deliver the parts. That way we don't have to leave the customer's house. We can continue to work.
Yeah.
We can maximize their time, because ultimately everybody's time's worth something.
Right.
And so with a customer, we know that we're there and we have to get that job done as efficiently as possible. And so we definitely try to make it as good for the customer as possible.
I love that. That's awesome. Let's go back to you real quick. Like, what's your driving force to have an upper echelons of expectations? Where did that come from? Obviously with your father, having that business, you grew up in recognizing that, and then you having the opportunity to go back and work for him again, after college. Where are you at today, and what's really pushing you to continue to have this high level of expectations, not only for yourself, but for your staff, but then also what the audience and the consumers are expecting?
Yeah. So, I'm huge on personal development. I've always, over the last 7-8 years of my life, I got introduced to personal development, and I really think that that's what it comes down to. If you make yourself a better person, you're going to be able to help other people get better.
Yeah.
And so with this company, what I want to do is I want to be able to train people in the trades.
Yeah.
We just started an apprenticeship program where we're bringing people on to learn the trades, to help them get out in the field, help them create a career. But we really, what pushes me every day I come to work, one of my biggest accomplishments is to see the families that are supported through High Five Plumbing.
Right.
That's one of the things that I love. I love to know that
my phone's going off. Sorry about that.
I love to know that there's people that are here and we're helping them support their family, and we're helping them make their lives better is our goal. So between that and then giving back to the community, this community's given a lot to us. It's allowed us to build what we have with High Five Plumbing. Right. And so now we've started with the High Five Cares to try to, give back to the community.
And I want to talk about that, is the High Five Cares program and what you're doing for the community. How long did you bring this program on?
So this became a thought process the end of last year.
Okay.
And we were just really trying to decide on how we can really help the community as best we could. And so we sat down, kind of brainstormed, me and my wife, and High Five Cares is what we decided to come up with. Last month, which was April, was our first month.
Okay.
Last month, which was March, was our first month. And so that was our first month we rolled out the program. And we had great success, great feedback. We really truly feel like it's a good program to where we could help with some local charities, some local nonprofits, and help us get into the community and give back to what's given to us.
And what are you doing you're obviously bringing awareness for the partners, the organizations that you work with, charity organizations you're working with, but what's your overall intent in terms of, showing that care and giving back, to them and that community? What kind of programs are you guys looking to develop under this High Five Cares program?
So what we do is, for every club membership we sell, we offer a club membership to all of our customers where they get discounted rates to us, they get priority service, but we also donate $10 for every club membership we sell.
Okay.
We also dedicate an additional fee on top of the club memberships we sell to make sure we can give back as much as we can. But besides that, we also we try to set up our charities that have events that month, because we really try to get our employees involved in volunteering as well.
Good.
So whenever we go to these charities, we always ask them, like, what is it that you need right now? Do you need volunteers, donations? What is it that really is going to help you guys continue to help the community? What can we do to help you do that? So a lot of the things we're trying to come up with is we really just want to help local charities, local nonprofits, and find out what they would need from us.
Great.
Not just giving money, not just giving time, but really finding out what's going to help make them a better organization for the community.
And obviously trying to, empower them to get more done.
Exactly.
Out of where their goals are going to be. So going back to this article, something that also stuck out to me is that parents want success for their kids, right?
Of course.
And like you said, you want to be the best plumber. That's all relative on, what you have going on in your mind and what you're looking to do and what the industry is going to control with that. But then, from a parent's perspective is, parents want success for their kids and what they're looking to do, and they get stuck. And this stigma about they have to go to college, they have to be able to do what they're doing because society says that they have to get a degree, right? But then what really stuck out to me is but they're not seeing a shortage that's happening in the tradespeople in the industry until they hire a plumber and have to cut that check.
Yep.
And you and I spoke about that when that the price per plumber moving forward is increasing because the demand is increasing and the talent isn't there.
Yep.
Right? So, what's your perspective on going back to the apprenticeship program you're speaking with? Is that through Red Rocks Community College as well? Or
yes.
Okay, so you're trying to create a feeder program. But how do you speak to a parent? How do you speak to the audience of these individuals that might be in college? They've already gone through college. They might be through a career change, and they're kind of on the fence about do I want to get into trades? And that perspective that they might be ashamed to just even consider that.
Yeah, my dad always taught me was as long as you know how to use your hands, you'll always be able to support your family.
Yeah,
that was one thing he taught us, and so I took the time to learn how to do construction, how to do repairs, how to do things like that when I had the chance. Mm-hmm. And so one thing I would tell parents and people who are, even kids who are kind of on the fence on what they really want to do, because I think back to me when I was in high school, I really didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do. I was kind of just throwing ideas at things and hoping that they stuck something that I would like. Yeah. And so, I would tell people, if you are kind of on the fence like that, take a serious look at the trades, because within 2 years of in the field training, you can easily be making $80,000 to $100,000 a year in 2 years. Wow. It just really depends on if you assert yourself and put the time in. Right. But in 8 years you can become a master plumber, and now you can start a business. Because you have your master's license. Right. You now are able to do plumbing in any building, anywhere, because of that master's license in 8 years. And so I would tell people to put the time and the effort into really digging into what it can provide for you as a career. Because, as I said earlier, there's no ceiling. Mm-hmm. You can start at the very bottom, and nobody's going to stop you from working your way all the way up to owning a business.
And how long does it take typically to go through a plumbing program in particular?
So it really is. It's all based off of time spent on the job. But if you were to break it down just for discussion, 2 years you can become a residential licensed plumber, which means you can work in residential houses. In roughly 4 to 5 years you can become a journeyman plumber, which gives you the ability to now work in commercial facilities, a little bigger projects. And then in 8 to 10 years you can get your master's license, which now you can pull permits through the city. You can now open a business and get your licensing and everything to do that.
So if I'm a young guy and I'm couple months away from graduating. Actually, it makes sense. Perfect timing, right? We're end of April. Yep. Graduation is going to happen at the end of May, going into June. And I'm sitting here with a dilemma of saying, what? Do I want to rack up debt and go to a 4-year college, or maybe community college for 2 years, and still not have a direction? How soon can I start getting paid? How soon can I, get into this program and turn around and say, what, I'm going to start earning some decent, serious money coming ahead. What does that window look like?
Well, right now, in a lot of areas, you can come right out of high school and make anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Wow! Right out of high school, if you just become a plumbing apprentice. Yeah. The one thing that you have to realize with the trades is the thing that a lot of people see is they see that, it's going to take me 8 years to get my license, or it's going to take me 4 years to get my license, and that, I don't know if that's a mental block or whatnot, but really when you think about it, the time to do that compared to the time to get a degree is the same time. Sure. It's just a different form of learning. You're in the field, you're using your hands, you're getting paid to get your license. They're paying you to train yourself to get a raise. Right. Is what it comes down to. So that's why apprenticeship programs are great, because you're getting paid to get better.
Good. I love it. So what's been the biggest challenge for you? How many years have you been in business now?
6. We're actually 6-year anniversary, May 6th.
All right. So coming up next Sunday, I believe, right? So next Sunday you have anniversary day. High five to that too. Yep. Almost high five throughout this show. So 6 years in business. Let's go through that journey again. You know, the first year it's you working, you know, making it happen, 12 to 14 hours. You know, just after a year you start to bring on some team members. You know, and you continue to grow steadily, and I like that. What challenges did you face that you weren't expecting, you know, in the first year or two? And what challenges are you facing right now going into your 6th year?
You know, when I first started the business, you know, one of my biggest challenges was I expected it to be easy, and it was because I knew plumbing, and I knew how to do plumbing, and it wasn't a plumbing problem I couldn't fix. But what I had to learn was you have to be organized. You have to have a lot of things in order to run a successful business. And so, you know, in the beginning, that was my biggest challenge, was getting all my ducks in a row, essentially, to make sure that I was running the business the way it should be and giving my customers what they deserved. So that was my biggest challenge in the beginning. Luckily, I was able to bring one of my first employees was actually my oldest brother, who was a master plumber for same vision, everything as you. It makes it easy to grow, because now I have somebody who I can toss ideas off of. I can put some responsibility on. So I was very lucky to be able to hire somebody who is very committed in the very beginning.
Great for you.
But, you know, as soon as he came on board, it then allowed me to start to change my focus.
Yeah.
You know, he started to handle a lot of the in the field stuff, and it allowed me to start to grow.
And strategize.
And the vision. Create a vision.
Right.
Because that's what you need. You need a vision in any business.
Right.
You need to have a direction where you're wanting to go. And that was our challenge in the beginning. Now our biggest challenge is lack of people. You know, we've been talking about how not a lot of people are in it. Very rarely do I meet technicians who are younger than me. I'm 33 years old, and there's really not a lot of people in the industry much younger than me. There's a handful, but there's really not a lot. So that right now, that's one of our biggest challenges is just trying to find quality people who can do quality work, that have great integrity and want to come and use their hands and work.
That's great. So let me get this fired back up again. My computer fell asleep. So, you know, like you said, you know, one of the challenges you're dealing with is finding quality people. What are you doing to answer that challenge? And I know that you've had some communications with, you know, Red Rocks Community College, you know, putting together an apprenticeship program. What does that look like? And what can you do as a leader in this industry, as a business owner, as someone that has a passion for the tradesmanship, specifically in plumbing? You know, how's the next year or two look down the road? That way, you know, you can keep yourself in business, because, you know, as the talent shrinks up, it gets harder and harder to keep the quality as great as it needs to be based on your expectations.
Exactly. So, you know, with the apprenticeship program we're starting, really what it is we've brought in a person in to train our guys. They're going to ride in a truck with a master plumber for a year.
Wow.
They're going to get in there. They're going to learn everything they can from that plumber. Essentially, if there's not a lot of people out there, we have to create them. Yeah. You know, so a lot of apprenticeship programs, they'll bring an apprentice in and they'll have him do a certain task for a certain amount of time. And apprenticeship programs with some of the bigger companies tend to take a little longer.
Sure.
With our company, we're going to bring people in and we're going to train them in all areas of plumbing. He's going to be riding with a technician to every job he goes to, so he'll be able to really train with on-the-job experience, which is what you need. But also with the High Five Cares, we want to bring awareness to the trades. Yeah. You know, we want to do a lot of job fairs, career fairs over the next year. We want to make sure to like I said, get the word out that the trades are a very good career. Right. As long as you are willing to put a little bit of time in and make yourself better, then you could have a great career.
That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely glad to hear that you're taking some initiative on that and you're recognizing that, right? And you're not just waiting for someone else to get out there and do it. Is the industry kind of handcuffed that they have to go to a community college to go through the program, or can someone jump in and say, hey, you know what, I don't have the experience, you know, I'm trying to study as much as I can. You know, is the industry built to bring people in and give them hands-on experience out the gates, if it's the right personality, if it's the right integrity, if it's the right situation, and then they still can go take a test without having to go through the community college program?
Yeah, so I actually, I didn't go through any trades. All of my experience was done on the job, in the field. I didn't really ever take any classes, which is fine. They don't require it. Okay, it's not a requirement in the trades. So you still don't, I actually incurred zero debt in getting my licenses, because it was all on the job, in the field training. Yeah. So the only debt that I really had to get my license was paying to go take the license. Yeah. And so really, you don't even have to go to a trade school. They allow you to just do in the field and learn through experience. The trade school, though, counts as additional hours.
Sure.
So, you know, instead of having to get 10,000 hours to get your master's, you only have to get 8 now.
Okay.
Because the trade school kind of deducts some of the hours.
Yeah, of course. Well, it
speeds it up.
Yep. And the reason I asked that question is because you and I had, a pretty candid conversation about, the trades programs, the attendance is dwindling. It might be on the horizon that they end up cutting the programs off completely, right? Mm-hmm. So if that starts to happen, now we got a bigger issue going on in terms of finding the proper, people to train and get them into, the positions coming ahead, right?
Yeah. So, back when I was in high school, and I'm sure yours, there were shop classes. Mm-hmm. Welding, mechanics, wood shop, you learned those things, and that was because, like I said, I truly don't think college is for everyone. But if that trade program starts to go away, now there's very little people even pushing it to high schoolers. With the trade schools and these programs, at least you have a little bit of exposure and a little bit of people trying to push to the trades. But if those programs go out, the last time I had talked to them, there was only, I want to say, 4 people enrolled in the plumbing program. The last time I spoke with that trades program, and they can't continue to do that. So if we don't start to get that attendance up and those programs go away, now the visibility for the trades is even going to be less because we're not going to have any trade schools pushing those.
Well, let's continue to make sure that we overall as business leaders and you being an industry leader, that we continue to find the emphasis and create the emphasis and importance of making sure that we can keep these programs alive, so that way we can give these opportunities to our future, right? Here in Denver, it's a booming economy. There's a lot of homes that are going up. There's a lot of construction that's happening. As it trades, demand increases and the supply isn't there of the talent to be able to make it happen. That's what's going to drive up the cost of just putting a home in, putting up a plumbing system in overall, right? Then obviously on top of that is to try and maintaining that in years coming down the road. But we also just want to make sure that I personally believe that we want to give every individual in the future, whether they're old or young, that they have the best opportunity to find their success in whatever they're doing. So if that's in business, if that's being a student in the game, if that's someone that's simply going to say, hey, I want to get into plumbing or any other type of tradesmanship, we want to make sure that they find that path where they can feel most comfortable overall. So so right now, where are you at in the future of your business? You're 6 years in. Where do you see yourself 2 or 3 years down the road from sitting in the position you are in, your vision coming ahead, and disclose as much of those you want to without the competition trying to find out your gun and take it up?
Like I said, in my mind, I see us as the best plumbing company in the Denver metro area.
As you should.
And so every day I come into work, one of my goals, one of my things I write down on my to-do list is, what can I do to make this a better company to work for, and what can I do to make this a better company to hire?
Yes.
Every day I try to move the ball in the right direction for the company. So in the next 5 to 7 years, I see us being the biggest plumbing company in Denver.
Wow.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Is it obtainable? Yes, if we work hard and we continue to push like we are. But ultimately, like I said, we want our customers to be satisfied. We want people to know when they call High Five Plumbing that they're going to get treated right and that it's going to get done right. So ultimately that's what we really want to do. We want to make everybody aware of what we're trying to do. We really are trying to make the community better. We're trying to make the trades better overall for everybody. We know that some people are going to come to work for us, and it may not be their last place they work.
Yeah.
But we know that if we can come here and make them a better plumber, then all they're going to do is make the trades better. Whether they go work for another company, they start their own business, as long as they have the correct knowledge to make sure that they build the trades the right way, then we can continue to succeed everybody as in the trades altogether.
Well, that's a great mindset, right? To have overall. So where do you thrive the most? If you look at the overall company in perspective, I love asking this question because I feel like there's business owners that get pulled in directions where within business, there's a lot of things you don't like doing, right? There's always been a lot of things you don't like doing. There's a lot of things you love to do the most, right? What is it that you love to do the most when it comes within your business, and you obviously taking the reins on pulling this company ahead?
Yeah, so one of my mentors always talks about unique ability and how you got to put people in the right seats on the bus to make the business keep traveling.
Right.
And so we definitely try to put the right people in the right seats. And so the biggest thing I love about it is I love telling people about High Five. because I truly believe that if everybody knows about High Five and everybody sees what we do as a company,
right,
then there's no reason everybody wouldn't want us to do their plumbing work.
Right.
So that's my one of my biggest things is I love going out and trying to make the community better. I love going out and talking, and I love making relationships with people. That's one of the things that I enjoy a lot. Like I had told you, I truly believe that you get so much more experience talking to people. Going and creating relationships with people because you get to hear their experiences.
Yes.
And whether I'm talking to you, who has a completely different background than me, I will still get information from you that I can use.
Right.
And the more people, the more relationships you create, the more knowledge you're going to get. And so that's one of my biggest things is just continue to gain knowledge.
Well, we love that, right? So, we want to give knowledge. Fluent Hustle is about, how do we give more knowledge to our audience? And majority of our audience are going to be entrepreneurs. These are going to be individuals that are, in business for themselves. They're looking to get into business. They might be working at a corporation right now, and they're sitting behind a desk. They might be an entrepreneur, so they're working within the business, but they have the the entrepreneurial confidence and abilities to make a difference overall. I want to speak specifically about an entrepreneur looking to become a contractor, looking to get into plumbing. They might say, hey, you know what, Levi, I want to be your direct competitor 5 years down the road, right? And you probably want the best out of them because that challenge is going to make you better at the end of the day. And I think that you're an individual that's going to accept that. What advice can you give to the entrepreneurship community when it comes to getting out of their comfort zone or trying to make a difference or whatever kind of comes to mind that you can share that's really going to inspire them to be awesome at the end of the day.
Yeah. So one of the things, starting a business that I always think is you can't be scared to ask for help.
I love that.
Because bottom line, a lot of people who have that entrepreneurial mindset, they tend to be very proud.
Yeah.
And they tend to have a little bit more of, I don't want to say ego, but they tend to be a little more proud and a little hesitant to ask for help. But I learned very quickly that the more you ask for help and you find people that are willing to help you, it's going to make your path easier.
Yes.
It's going to make everything easier because you're going to talk to people who have been there. So, when I started my business, that was the first thing I did. Is I started to reach out to my dad who owned a plumbing company. I talked to other people who owned trades companies. I reached out and got mentors in the trades that had built businesses to where I wanted to go.
Right.
And I started asking for help. And honestly, that's what you need to do. And I tell the same thing. If anybody out there is wanting to start a plumbing company right now, give me a call. Give me a call. I'm like I said, we make the trades better. It's going to make everybody better.
Right.
So I don't have any problem helping people try to get off on the right way. Like I said, I'm not a coach. I'm not a person who's going to tell you what to do, but I will give you my experiences. And if my experiences can help your experience be a little easier, then that's ultimately the goal.
And that's what I'm all about. And that's what Fluent Hustle has continued to grow into is we want to share the experiences. We want to have individuals that can be like-minded, that can be, within reach, attainable. Like you say, hey, give me a call. You're not, too big of a personality or an individual or a company that people can't reach out to you and be proactive in that. But I think it's important that in order for us all to become better business entrepreneurs and people of growth in general, is we have to listen to one another and we have to say, what you're doing is not practical to me, but what you're doing I can learn from. And I can understand where that experience is coming from. And it might be 5 years down the road, I might say, you know what? I remember Levi talking about that, and now it resonates to me today. Exactly. And it's just about learning from other people. And I know that you had mentioned that to me about a week and a half or so ago. Was you love getting involved with people in your industry, whether they're near and far, because you want to learn from them. You want to say, hey, what were you doing in these particular troubling times and challenges that was going on, and how'd you overcome that, and how'd you get out of that? Yep. So when you told me about that, I really appreciate where you're coming from, because that's how I am as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and like I said, if any industry you're in, if you find that person that you want, that company or that business that you want to get to, everybody's always going to have a benchmark that they want to reach.
Yeah.
And so find a company that's in an area where you want to get to, and call them and ask them for help. Like I said, some may say no, and some may say yes. But that's all. The yeses and nos are all part of life.
That's good.
But you got to keep asking. You got to keep asking for that help, because the more help you get, like I said, the easier your journey is going to be.
And I see it happen a lot of times. To be humble and say, "Hey, I need help," is one of the best things to do, because I think the human nature wants to help out the other human. Right? They want to help out society. They want to make a difference. And if they see you struggling and you're neglecting that help, they don't want to help you. Right? But if you come up and say, "Hey, you know what? I do need the help, and I'm going to put my pride to the side, and I'm not going to have an ego about it. Like, can can you coach me? Can you give me some some talking word tracks to get me to the next level, or can you just tell me whether I'm going in the right direction or not? And you might say, hey, you know what? You need to get beat up. You need to get your teeth kicked in, and this can be part of the journey. Like, you're not doing anything right. You're not doing anything wrong.
Yep.
That's just the way the cookie's going to crumble, and keep on persevering overall. At the end of the day. So, what comes to mind are some other things you want to kind of mention to the audience and bring up that we haven't had a chance to discuss, and not to put you onto the hot spot, but is there anything that we haven't had a chance to touch base with?
I just really want to talk about our High Five Cares a little bit.
Okay.
We really are putting a lot of effort into this. We want to get out and make a difference. So anybody who can get on Facebook, go to our page. Every month we're going to post the charity of the month. And every single one of these charities can use more help than what we're giving them.
Sure.
So if anybody who really can, jump on there, like their page. Even if you can't donate, if you can't help them out, share their page, like their page, because it's giving them exposure.
Yes.
And the more and more we're doing this, and we go and visit these facilities and see how they're working, and you see that they're doing the same things we are, just in a different industry, different world.
Yeah.
But they're all ultimately trying to do the same thing. So if you guys can go and go to our Facebook page, we'll have their links up on our pages. You can go like their page, help them get some visibility. We do a different recipient every month, and so it's really a good program that we're trying to get out to help gain them exposure as well as make a difference. So we're really excited about the High Five Cares. We really think that it can make a huge difference, and so we just want everybody to kind of follow us, see if you can't help these charities and these organizations as well.
Awesome, and we'll definitely make sure we do our part to like, share, and comment as best as possible. Because, like I say, I can't always cut a check personally. Our company can't always cut a check, exactly. But we can at least provide exposure and find those right individuals who can say, hey, I wasn't aware of what High Five Cares is doing for this particular organization, and it might just be that perfect storm of sharing that, and other people just finding, hey, there's a little bit more exposure, and I think that's what we all need overall, just getting the right exposure at the right time on a frequent basis at the end of the day. So Jackie over at the Kamazan Champa, she had on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, had asked me if you'd be willing to come in and speak to our Co-Starter program. So the Co-Starter program is a 9-week entrepreneurship accelerator course that goes every week, goes through a particular topic about getting to know yourself, getting to know your customer, marketing, finance, putting together we call it a canvas, which is like a business plan. Yep. So every week we bring in a guest speaker of this program. I am a facilitator of the program, and Jack had asked if you'd be willing to come in the future to become a guest speaker, to speak about your experiences and your journey, just very much you did with the Fluent Hustle community. So I'm asking you live on Facebook right now if you would accept that offer to come on.
Of course, like I said, anytime I have the chance to pass on knowledge, that's one thing you can't take with you. You can't take knowledge. You can't take anything with you. So why not pass it on? So any chance I have to pass on my knowledge, I will. So
beautiful.
Definitely.
Awesome. And there's actually a student in the cohort that I'm working with right now, that facilitating, that he wants to open up a fire protection business. So he's installing sprinklers and stuff like that. And I'm not going to disclose his name just for the respect of what he has going on. But I would love him to get in touch with you and understand what he could be doing to get to the next level and help himself out.
Definitely. Anytime I can help.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you very much for coming on the show. A handshake and a high five. Again, Ira Coleman here, the founder of Fluent Hustle. We are here live, Facebook Live, with Levi Torres, the CEO of High Five Plumbing. This is a phenomenal interview. We had an opportunity to just sit back and listen, and I'm looking forward to continue to work with you and talk shop coming ahead. But if you can just please help Levi get where he needs to be for High Five Plumbing and also High Five Cares by liking, sharing, commenting. We'll be following back up on a couple of posts here in the future. Thank you very much for everything. So hopefully you had an opportunity to be empowered, this opportunity to promote Levi and what he's doing with his business, and hopefully his words are also inspiring you, because we believe that the more you can learn through experiences of other people like Levi and myself and our audience, the subjects we have for our audience, the better you'll become a business owner and entrepreneur overall. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.